name is Janelle Riley, and I am your host for today's half hour with the series Bait. Please join me in welcoming today's guests. We have co-showrunner, EP, and writer Ben Karlin, and creator, co-showrunner, EP, writer, actor Riz Ahmed. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Can we
us.
introduce who's who, since people might
Yes.
be confusing?
Riz, right? Before we get started, can you tell us, in your own words, what this show is about?
Yeah, the way I've been describing this show is that it's about an out of work actor who lands an audition to be the next James Bond. And when word gets out that he's in the running, his life gets so out of control, it's almost like he is in a spy thriller. And so it's a comedy. It's about family and ambition and squaring the circle between those two things. And it's about how we can often, be seeking other people's approval, and in doing so might lose touch with who we really are.
Ben, anything you want to add?
No, that's pretty good, man. Sounds like you've done that before.
So yeah, thank you
What's stress?
Well, why don't we take a look at the trailer?
Tell me, when it's just you, all alone, do you even know who you are?
Line? Sorry. I got stuff cooking.
What you got cooking?
I can't tell you. It's top secret.
Oh my God, Sharpa, are you going to be the next James Bond?
Just an audition.
James Bond is white.
I want to show people that this is what a hero can look like.
There's a lot of hate coming at you on the internet right now.
I know you're probably getting a lot of that too.
Not really.
What the fuck is this?
What does it look like? Security?
I'm just trying to bring in some real, actual protection.
If I want your fucking protection, I'll ask for your extra small condoms. You like that one, isn't it? A tiny lolly, yeah?
I worry for him. So much pressure. I'm chill. He's not fucking chill.
Let's just go there and smash it, all right?
Ready?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Run kare karke.
Yeah. Come on, don't do that on the red carpet.
I can't guarantee it.
Do you want to be reactive or do you want to be proactive?
Shut up! I think they have for me, right? If I don't know who I am, it's because I feel like maybe you don't want to know.
Are you acting?
No,
Looks like lines.
they are lines, but the feeling is honest.
You're insane.
Again, congratulations on just such a funny but unique program. And you mentioned that the series is so many things: drama, family comedy, a thriller, a satire of this industry. Can you sort of talk about the genesis of the idea and how you developed this all into the show? Because I understand the whole James Bond concept came into play later.
It did, yeah. I mean, I'd been kind of jotting down notes and ideas and a rough concept for the show for, oh my God, I first started doing that about 2014, 2015. And obviously it evolved a lot since then. And years and years into that journey, we decided, right, we really need to whip this into shape. And we were looking for the perfect partner to do that. And I was introduced to Ben. And what was amazing about working with Ben, and I think it was really reflected in the show, is the range of kind of experience he has, from Modern Family to The Daily Show and Colbert, to The Onion, and we knew that we wanted this to be a show that exists in lots of different genres, has lots of different tones to it. We didn't want it to be just one thing, and Ben had that range. So then I locked Ben up in a room with me for a month, and we got talking, and he just was asking so many questions, and I had this jotted down from this experience and this idea, and what Ben was able to do was actually help cohere the whole thing structurally and narratively, and landed on this one anecdote I was telling about the James Bond stuff. Oh, my name was once in contention, and it made me feel like this, and I thought, what if? But actually, and he was like, that's it. That's the perfect symbol through which we can explore all the things you've been trying to kind of wrangle. And then it was a question of trying to get permission to use it, which is another story.
Yeah, no. Riz had such an incredible range of stories, but there was a breadth to them that made it kind of hard to get your head around because it spanned all this time. And I was coming off experiences where I was writing a lot more serialized, hard serialized. I had done this genre show called Future Man, and I had done another period show called Minx, and both of them really tried to like tighten the storytelling into, really, really, sharp, something with like a real ticking clock, which I just helped so much with structure. And once we kind of came upon that, that just kind of opened the whole thing up. And then the thing that we really just had a meeting of the minds on right from the beginning was to not ever let the show settle into one, kind of, set tone, and for it to be constantly kind of surprising and jumping around. And that's something that we just like both excited us from the beginning, was like, you're never really going to get comfortable. And each episode is going to feel like, whoa, like I just didn't see that coming tonally.
I mean, I was going to ask because you're known like primarily for comedy, but you balance it with these other moods. It goes from an espionage thriller to a family drama, to this dark satire, and you sort of have the episodes done in a different style to reflect that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it wasn't completely conscious as we were doing it, but as we started to go deeper into the process, I realized the reason being behind it is because that's what the character is going through. The character's going through a kind of identity crisis. The character's trying to work out who he is, and so it stands to reason that the show reflects that. This guy is trying to find which story and which world he kind of belongs in, and he's an actor. It stands to reason that we're going from a Bond episode in the classic kind of mold in episode 2 to a Bollywood soap opera in episode 3 to a Linklater walk and talk in 4 to a new school Greengrass spy thriller in 5. It's a way, I think, of like trying to really honor the emotional state and drive of this character, which is trying to figure out his identity in a way.
Ben, what's it like for you, to have a creator who comes to you with something that it's such a great idea, but also it's clearly so deeply personal and dealing with all these, very relevant themes. I mean, like you do not want to mess this up.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting because, the thing that you're looking for when you're in my position is, like what's like the there, and Riz just had such a richness of experience and so many ideas. I mean, honestly, the hardest thing about it was just like trying to like tamp it down. Like there's so many ideas that we were trying to figure out how can we squeeze these ideas into this thing that people will understand and be able to follow and has emotional through lines. But having the surplus of material is such a gift. As a person in my position, it's not like we didn't have to sit there and just like, okay, well, what do we do in the show about it? It was never that. It was just like, how are we going to shape this stuff? How are we going to find like the appropriate vehicle for it? It was never about a shortage of ideas, which is great. I mean, that's just half the job, is just like, what are the interesting ideas that you're dealing with?
I mean, the hitting upon the James Bond ideas is so brilliant, but at the same time, you're writing yourself into a corner because what would have happened if they had said
I
no?
mean, the amount of
So
time,
stressful.
yeah, the amount of time we spent being like, this could really, really blow up in our face, and then we're really in trouble because the other version of the show, which is the more kind of realistic version, given like the state of like Hollywood and IP, was that we didn't get permission, and you're doing this thing where you're naming it but not naming it, and then it's just like, it's just not. I'm sure it would be fine, but it's just not as much fun. It's just not as much fun when you can't name the thing.
It's really to the credit of Barbara Broccoli, who's such a class act and such a kind of champion of kind of storytellers who are finding their voice. That she gave us permission to do it, and I think it's because on some level she understood, like, we gave her scripts. I went and sat with her, and she was like, oh, actually, this isn't really about Bond. It's about Bond here is a symbol. It's a symbol of success and acceptance and desirability. And this character wants to be all those things that Bond represents, but he kind of has to embrace who he is. And it's really about self-love and family and ambition and stuff that's much more universal. In many ways, it's not really a show about Hollywood or the industry at all, let alone Bond.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was never one thing we were really clear on from the start. It was never going to be like a parody. We never wanted to use like, the music or, cheeky, titles. Like that was never really the spirit of it. So I think that helped a lot also. You really saw it as this like kind of companion, like meta commentary thing that, in its good execution was actually really, really complementary to, the underlying material.
Riz, what was it like for you returning to, your first series television regular job since I guess it was 10 years ago you won the Emmy for the night of very different show.
Yeah, it was very different, and in many ways, I think that journey kind of says a lot about what this show is and what it means to me. I had a tremendous experience doing that, and it was just working with those people, Michael K. Williams and John Turturro and Zalian and all these guys. The big thing that I would say is at that period of my life, I didn't allow myself to draw on my personal experience at all as an actor. I remember literally going into a scene thinking, well, I've got to be sad in this scene. There's some sad stuff happening in my life right now. Not allowed to go there. I kind of like kept it over there. I thought that acting was about putting on the mask and becoming someone else. And now I think it's about taking the mask off and actually trying to offer up your privacy and your insanity in a way that's hopefully liberating for other people as well as, for yourself. And so I kind of look back in a way and I think that, this show is a culmination of a long journey. I think a journey that Shah Latif, the character, is going on, a journey of like owning who you are. And so, it was amazing doing the night of, but very different circumstances in many ways, less personal than this.
Wow. I do have to mention the amazing cast of the show because everyone is just so wonderful. I particularly love the actors who comprise Shah's family, who do just show us how grounded our relatives keep us. Actually, we're going to take a look at a clip.
Oh my God. Shah, are you going to be the next James Bond?
What?
Huh? Wait. It might be Cap.
Can I have a look at that?
Oh, no. It's legit. What the Oh my God. What's Bond, Shaju? This is crazy. This is crazy. Wait. Chill, man.
Check the website. It's BBC. We can't trust it.
Greg Daniel मर गया क्या साला?
Bro, why didn't you tell me?
It's just an audition.
This is what I've been this whole time.
Super James Bond mera Shaju.
Listen, it's an audition. It's a photo from today's audition. That's all it is.
Don't make sense, though, man. James Bond is white.
चुप हमेशा नजर लगाता मेरे बच्चों को चुप
I'm He's playing. Do you know how much sex James Bond does? वो तो sex करता है, पाँ करते हैं.
तो करता है तो क्या हो गया? तो उसमें क्या हो गया?
I'm the and he's Shaggy.
ये उन लोगों का मुल्क है, इनको भड़काओ नहीं.
Listen, Baba, it's okay to be a little bit excited. It's nice even just to have the opportunity. It's a big deal. Brown James Bond. You should be proud.
It's mad. This guy's face is gonna be blasted everywhere. Imagine it.
Daniel Craig got paid 20 M's for the last movie.
My Shaju will get 21.
It's just calm down. It's just an audition, yeah?
Call me if you need a body double for sex scenes.
Hello? Chup raho.
Could you tell her to call me as soon as she comes back in? Yeah, sure.
Bye. Phone kar dena.
रुक तो सही 2 मिनट.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I just got to sort this out and work it out.
Cuz, yo, look at me. I'm proud of you. Yeah? James Bond, my guy.
Let's see what happens.
Of course, inshallah. But do they know about the height?
What do you mean?
They're gonna give you special shoes. Like James Bond's a big, isn't he? I'm just saying it for you.
Okay, so this is very meta in that real life, your name has been floated as a potential James Bond for some time now. And I like to believe that this is how your family really reacted.
This is a documentary, is what we haven't revealed yet to the public. It's interesting because Bassam Tariq, who directed these first 3 episodes, once told me, isn't it crazy how far we run away from home in order to make stories about home? And he said, yeah, writing love letters to home is a lot easier than being there sometimes, and the show deals with that, right? Like on some level we want, nothing more than the embrace of family. On another level, all we want is to get the hell away from it as far as possible. And the show really kind of deals with that kind of ambivalence. He's so close to his family, but he feels he's very different to them and not understood by them and so on. But really, this family was brought to life with such specificity and such skill by these actors. and there's a different story around all of them. But you know, I think of someone like Sajid. He's a great example. We had written the father to be a disapproving religious dad. As soon as we met Sajid, we were like, we got to rewrite this whole role and cast this guy in it. And so everyone made it their own in a way that was such a gift to us as writers, you know?
It's also interesting how you can take something so specific, like, you know, an actor auditioning for James Bond and like tell this universal story. I don't know if you expected that, but that's really what it's become.
Yeah, well, we definitely didn't want it to be like a Hollywoody type of thing. We felt like, you know, there's good shows that do that well, but we really felt like the sweet spot for the show was having the fact that he was an actor kind of be not in the background, obviously, because like the Bond thing obviously is a great, you know, kind of story engine, but this kind of tension with the family, the specificity of the family, made it feel universal and relatable in a way that a show about an actor going through like the trials and tribulations of trying to get a role could never be.
Yeah, I think family is at the heart of it, really. You know, it's about self-love and it's about family and it's about these universal things that I think we all deal with, you know.
How did you, because it really does feel like a family for all the good and bad that entails, how do you build that chemistry where it feels like these people have known each other for years? I know you've known Guz for a long time, but did you know everyone else, or does it just lock into place?
It was Guz and Sheba, so Guz was a friend, but we hadn't worked together, and I wrote the role for him. I only ever saw him in this kind of role, and we go way back. And I know the kind of performer that Guz is and the chemistry we have would set a tone for the rest of the ensemble to kind of like take their cue from, in terms of the irreverence of improvising and not treating the text as, you know, as sacred, but at the same time kind of making sure we hit those beats clearly in a context where we're overlapping a lot, you know? With Sheba Chada, I had just worked with her on Hamlet, and having worked with her, she was just mind-blowing, you know, as an artist. And I know she can do anything standing on her head with her eyes closed. So I just kind of wanted to pull her in. And with those two pieces, then it was about looking for the others. As I said, Sajid totally changed the idea of the character should be. Same with Asiya, who plays Q. She's just got such a specific energy. She's just so cool. We kept trying to write a cool Gen Z character. Don't know how successful me and Ben were at that. We met Asiya and we were like, write that down, what she just said. Okay, that's it. That's exactly what it is. That's who it is, you know? So there was a kind of, yes, we had created these characters, but there was an act of co-creation there as well.
I mean, as writers, you know, you think the writing is everything, but it really, like, it just has to connect with like the casting and the performers. And like, truthfully, on the page, I wasn't as confident in what we had written until we actually saw the chemistry, and then you're just like, oh yeah, this totally works. There's just something about the way good actors bring things to life that can really elevate material, you know, that's incredible.
I was wondering actually if Hamlet came first, because Sheba's a much better mother in this one. I think. I think. It is such a talented cast, and you know, I know many of them are very funny. I should also mention I just love Hamish Patel as sort of like the rival for James Bond. Again, I like to believe that there's like some truth in that. I don't know.
We did a South by Southwest panel where we played up this joke, where we were it's like on my socials and stuff, where we sat down and we start talking, and the whole thing descends into a bickering match about like how ridiculous it would be that he would ever be considered, but I am considered. So he's always game for like a laugh, and he's just so talented. You know, he just came in, smashed it, knocked it out of the park, played this kind of smarmy supervillain almost that is the total opposite to the sweetheart he is. And so, yeah, we're very grateful to him and to Patrick Stewart and everyone who came and elevated this, you know?
Yeah, Patrick Stewart as the severed pig's head, who is so mean, his inner voice. What's it like? Is it cathartic to write those things where he's being really abusive to you?
Yeah, weirdly, I wanted him to be nice, but Ben kept writing this really intense style. I was like, Ben, where is this coming from?
Yeah. Finding, you know, needing a voice that was immediately everything that, you know, captures the, you know, Shaw's sense of inadequacy, that has this kind of like stentorian, immediate authority. Patrick Stewart was like the voice that we imagined for the character. The fact that he agreed to it still is something that I don't think Riz and I can quite get our heads around. But he was amazing and really, really game and incredible. I mean, just really, really into it. We had to explain a lot of some of the slang, I would say.
You're explaining terms to Sir Patrick.
Some of it. I let Riz do that. I felt I probably.
He was, what does the mandem mean? And I'd be like, mandem. It's like, it means the guys. He's like, oh.
Tackling, these issues of cultural identity and family and belonging and representation, but doing it in such a comedic way. How challenging was it to strike that balance, but also how cathartic was it for you?
It was so liberating because I think in many ways the show is about skewering the representation conversation, how it can be self-serving and a bit limiting and a bit superficial. And the kind of representation I'm interested in most is how do we represent ourselves authentically? Not how do you represent other people. No one person can represent a community in any kind of way. But we do kind of tinker with how we represent ourselves publicly. We do kind of put on the mask, And so that was the thing that I was kind of super interested in exploring. How do you hold on to your authenticity in a world that either punishes it or commodifies it? Like, how do you do that? We're all trying to figure that out. And so, there was something really liberating in kind of like laughing at that and not coming up with any answers, not trying to be preachy, just kind of embracing the confusion of this world that we live in right now. And this world where we're all kind of performing a version of ourselves at any given time.
We always like to end by asking people if there's one thing about this series that sort of stands out for you that would make someone who hasn't checked it out yet, put it on. What do you think that would be? One thing you'd want to tell them?
Beyond Patrick Stewart?
I was going to say Sir Patrick Stewart as a racist seven pigs head. Come on, that's not on every show. That's on some shows, but not every show. So yeah,
that old trope.
I love. I mean, the thing that when people ask me about what I like best about the show is, the variety of its tone to me is something that's really hard to pull off. And it was such a thrill, honestly, to do something that from episode to episode, it just feels like it all is thematically unified, but like each episode has a real different flavor. And that's something that I think is really hard to pull off. And I'm really proud of that.
I would think one of the hardest things for you, Riz, would be not laughing at some of these hilarious lines. But I guess you knew they were coming unless there was any improv.
Can I tell you, we actually had to ban Sheba, who plays my mother, from set for some of the scenes with Gaz Khan because she couldn't keep a straight face. And we were like, listen, we're going to do your coverage separately. And it was like kids in class being separated. No, but this time it goes, we've done 12 takes. You can't keep a straight face. We're just going to quietly. But then the next scene we rolled around to, and I'm guilty of the same thing. So I think on a comedy, you should be laughing. And also because we go to these variety of tones, we go to quite a psychological place and a dramatic place, we wanted to laugh. We needed that as well. We wanted that kind of outlet. So it was a lot of fun. I miss it. I miss the team. And I can't wait for people who haven't seen it to kind of see that chemistry on screen, because I think a lot of it is really genuine.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, I want to say thank you to Riz and Ben and our friends at Prime Video for joining us today. And for everyone watching, wherever you are, thank you for joining us today for Half Hour With.